Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. If you're new here, my name's Emma. I make health and lifestyle videos and I upload every Monday and Wednesday. So for today's video, I wanted to talk you through how you can drastically improve your week by doing this one reset routine. So a little while ago, I started implementing a weekly reset and it's had such an amazing impact on my life that it's now one of my favorite things to do and I wanted to share it with you guys. Whenever I don't do it, I feel a bit lost and disorganized, and I just find it's a really good way to check in on myself and my goals and set myself up for the best week possible. So I've also created a free printable to go along with this video. It is on my blog, which I will link down below. So if you guys want to implement a similar weekly reset and do this along with me, then you can click that link and get going. So I split my reset ritual into 3 different parts. I call it the CRP method. That stands for clear, review and plan. So the first part of the weekly reset is clear. This is all about clearing my digital, physical and mental space for the week. First, I look at my digital space, which is when I go to all of my high traffic areas and clear them all out and organize them. So for me, this tends to be my downloads file, my desktop and my Google Keep. These are the places where I tend to dump things digitally. So I might have shopping lists, random photos, downloads, that kind of thing. And I just prefer to have them all cleared out and organized so I can really find things easily the next week. The second part of this step is to clear your physical space. So I make an effort to tidy and clean my room and any other space in my house that I feel needs it. I personally work so much better in a clear and clean environment. I find that when my physical space is messy, so is my brain, and I definitely find it a lot harder to concentrate. So I always end the week by making sure everything is tidy for the Monday when I wake up. Once that is done, I always light a candle, get a notebook and pen out, and get ready for the other steps of my review. The third part of the clear step is to clear my mind, and this is basically just a time for a little bit of relaxation and rejuvenation. So I might run a bath, do some meditation, or a little bit of journaling about the past week. I think it's really important to start both the review and plan section of this, as well as the whole of the rest of your week, in a really good mental space, and it's really important to take some time to de-stress. Once that's all done, I move on to part 2, which is the review. Here is where I ask myself 3 different questions, and I always write down the answers to these questions because I feel like then I'm taking them a lot more seriously, and I find that I'm much more likely to take on board things when I'm writing them down rather than when I'm just thinking them. The first question I ask myself is, how do I feel? How am I feeling this week? Have I been tired, excited, calm, frustrated, and why have I been feeling that way? I think it's really important to listen to our emotions in order to be the happiest, most healthiest human beings that we can possibly be, and too often we don't check in with ourselves. So I love using this opportunity to see how I'm feeling and work out how I can make alterations with that. So if I've been feeling a bit down, I take a few moments to write about why this might be the case and how I can make changes in the next week to feel better. And if I've been feeling excited or happy, I think about how I can replicate things that happen this week in the coming weeks to maintain those emotions. Next, I review last week's goals. I take a look at the goals that I made myself from last week's reset and see whether I managed to achieve them or not. A lot of the time this is as simple as a tick, but if I didn't manage to achieve them, I take a few minutes to just write down why this was the case, what got in my way, and how I can change things up to be more effective in future. I found that checking in on my goals makes me 1, much more accountable, and 2, much more effective at actually achieving them. It helps me to notice issues and implement changes, and also forces me to face up to when I haven't perhaps been putting the most effort in. And the third step is a values check-in. I actually got this idea from Michelle B. I will link her channel down below. It's absolutely amazing. If you haven't already watched her videos, you should definitely check them out. So as well as my goals, I also have a set of values that I try to adhere to. These are more principles rather than targets that just help me lead my life in a more purposeful way that's more meaningful to me. For example, one of my values is to really honour my feelings. A lot of the time we think we have values, but we don't actually always live up to them. And I find that having that weekly reminder and check-in really helps me to stay on top of what's important to me and how I want to be living my life. And last but not least, I have the planning section, which obviously helps me to plan out the rest of my week so that I really feel organised and grounded and ready for everything that's going to come my way. The first thing I do is brain dump a load of to-dos. These are all the tasks that have just been swirling around in your head that you keep thinking you need to get to and then you never do. This could be anything from taking your old clothes to the charity shop or asking a friend if they want to go for dinner. I find that getting all those things out on paper rather than floating around in my mind really helps to de-stress me and also organise my week. Once I've done that, it's time to plan my week. I personally use Google Calendars for this because I love time blocking. So I put in all my events, tasks, work commitments, social commitments for the week, and I also try and work through that brain dump to-do list and see where I can fit things into my week. Once I've done that, I've got a really good idea of what my 7 days will look like, and I know that what I need to get done is going to get done. So I find it leaves me much more calm and relaxed about the week. I also use this opportunity to schedule in exercise. I do this for 2 reasons. 1, it really helps me to commit to exercise like I would a meeting or a social event. And 2, I really like to mix my exercises up. I love running, yoga, weightlifting, body combat classes, and if I don't plan it carefully, I can miss things out. This just makes sure that I'm getting to do all of the things that I enjoy. And last but definitely not least, I decide on my goals for the week. Now, these are not my big, scary, exciting year or life goals. These are smaller goals just for that week that will hopefully get me closer to those bigger goals. For example, when I was training for my half marathon, my weekly goal was to run 3 times a week. I also always make sure that these are SMART goals, so specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based, because the idea is to keep me focused and ensure that I make progress, not feel bad about not being able to achieve these massive, big goals. I just want to make sure that I'm making progress each week to what I want long term. I do, however, sometimes write down my big goals just as a reminder of what I'm working for and to get excited for what's going to come in the future. So that is how I do my weekly reset routine, and it has made such a massive difference in my life. I cannot recommend it to you guys more. Like I said before, I will link down below my blog post where I've made a free printable for you guys if you want to fill that out too. In the blog post, I also go into more depth about how I do each step, so check that out if you're interested. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so you never miss another video. I hope you have an amazing week. I will see you all soon. Bye guys.